Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan.
At your service.
Sabrina as Cilvy.
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Mawgrim.
You're most welcome.
Matt as Guy.
Matt. Yep, it's me.
That's my name.
Don't wear it out. I was trying to load my character sheet.
And me, Paul, as the alliterative adjudicator of Dungeons & Dragons dice drops. So take my talons as our talking tonsils tell tons of truly terrific tales. But first,
wait. Is this alliteration dictionary, Paul, again?
Yes, it is.
Yes!
But first, listen to loads of lovely lines listing lots of little lessons while laughing. Firstly, for fans of frolicky frivolousness, feast your flappers on fonts of funny festivities. Your Neighbor's Potatoes is a podcast production in Patreon's purview for patrons paying a Pentagon's points in primary presidents.
Pentagon's points?
There's 5 of them, and a primary president. What would one want with another wad of Washingtons? Well, why not a wiki? Posting beautiful battle maps, meticulously metered out maps, and a cornucopia of cool character portraits to color your consciousness while concurrently consuming Crystal Codex or Chorus of the Forsaken. Forsaken. Regardless, ratings and rave reviews are really respected, and those that thought through theirs, thanks. Anyway, if you kept collecting keys to constantly uncage arrested Amazons, bound big men, locked up lizard men, knights and ninjas knee-deep in knots, prisoner priests, thumb-twiddling thieves, and walled-in wizards, this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 48.
I don't know that one.
I do. That was an arcade favorite.
Yes, magic sword. You kill people and you open up treasure chests and all you get is like keys or like maybe a better sword or better shield. And then you open up a locked door and you don't know who's coming out. It could be a big man with a boomerang axe, or it could be a thief who throws a little acid bottle, or
there's a dagger with bombs. Yeah.
It's a dagger with bombs?
There's a dagger out and then there's trailing bombs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, a fun one at the arcade if you ever go back to like one of those 90s arcades.
You dress like Conan, but then you get like a knight in like Crusader armor to follow you and throw spears, or a flying lizard man.
Yes. Or a ninja who goes from wearing purple to black to red, I think. Anyway, regardless, great game. Last time we were together, our heroes traveled all the way from Whitaker Bend through the town of Corbuli and then up into the Hydra River, past many points of interest, including a hag's hut, and they wound up in Kladvina, the capital of Pythrian barony. A few things that they saw along the way. While they were in Corbuli, a man attempted to hitch a ride with them, and there were some odd feelings about him and his intentions, and you decided not to take him. Later, the whole party got...
Also, don't forget, he was totally digging on Guy, according to Cilvy.
Yes.
I'm just telling you what I saw.
Many conversations were had as the party wound their way through the Hydra River, which was basically a bunch of small streams that were marked by markers so that you could follow them and not get lost. But our heroes did get lost. They were lost and managed to come across an old lodge where they spoke with 3 sisters, 3 elderly sisters.
Correction. I mean, we'll find out in just a second, but Guy never really got lost. There was some magical interference going on.
There were maybe some shenanigans. There were potentially some shenanigans.
That doesn't preclude you getting lost.
I guess
there might have been magical interference, but you still got lost.
Was deceived. Guy was deceived. Yeah, he didn't get lost. He didn't get lost. He was deceived. There we go.
Into getting lost.
Regardless, our heroes were they were not where they thought they were, in the swamp, looking for the path to Kladvina.
We thought we were.
And also had no idea how to get to where we wanted to go.
Okay, Dad.
Well, they found this lodge, lodge with 3 elderly women in it, Orchid, Violet, and Daisy. They called themselves sisters, and it didn't take long to realize something was up with them. Our heroes rightfully became wary and realized quickly that they were not what they seemed. Orchid did all of the speaking for the group and informed our heroes that something was going on in the area around Kladvina and throughout Pythria that they needed to change. They said that they could deal with the restless dead, but this new force, this new wildness that was coming in, they needed someone to stop it. And apparently, they had seen you in their scrying or in their fortune telling, whatever it is that they do, and they
saw Guy in their dreams.
Yeah.
Well, they created a way for you to arrive at their lodge. As they were talking with you, they offered a token, a pendant, a necklace that looked like an eye on a chain, and offered it to one of you to take, saying that should you take this when the time was right, they would help you in your endeavors to stop this magical, unnatural interference that was going on in the area. And nobody wanted to take it except Mawgrim. And Mawgrim now is the bearer of this pendant. As soon as the pendant was taken, Orchid said, "Hey, look, there's the marker." And you got back on your ship, the Lady Hawk, and sailed further up the Hydra River, arriving in Kladvina. And that's where we're at right now. So I described a little bit about Kladvina last time, but I will describe it again this time as you...
Particularly the southwestern point.
Kladvina is a city of canals. It is separated into multiple districts. You can see as you sail in, there are castles and there are temples. There are large towers. There are small islands connected with bridges. There are wide canals and there are narrow canals. There are gondolas everywhere. As you approach the docks, you see that any ship your size is docked there. And it seems that the only ships that now are moving inside the city through the canals are these small gondolas, rowboats, canoes, that sort of thing. Your ship, even though it is not massive, it is still too large for the majority of these canals. A lot of these canals are, 50 feet, 60 feet wide.
Europeans. They don't understand you need a truck.
Yeah.
50 feet, 60 feet wide in a lot of places. There are a couple of larger canals, like the Great Serpent that winds its way through the city. And then, of course, there's the massive Wondrous Canal that separates a group of small islands to the south from the main part of the city. But as you sail across Moonmire Lake to the docks, we're going to fast forward some of the stuff because it's not necessarily fun to arrange for a place for your horses.
Really quick though.
Yes.
Hey, everybody. We'll probably have to get off of our boat, but I think we might be able to fool them into thinking that our boat will, fit in the canals. We just have to blend in. And then Guy will put on a striped shirt and stand on the back and start singing, "When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie."
The gondolas and the canals are about the only similarity, and the palaces and the castles, to Venice. The temperature, the climate is very different. You have bogs running to the north, and as well as from where you're at, further to the east is all bog and swampland as well. And you're on this massive lake called Moonmire Lake. But it is kind of cold. It is kind of windy. The sky is cloudy. It is not the Mediterranean paradise like Venice would be. But anyway, so we're going to fast forward, just kind of, you guys get your ship docked. You manage to find a place there at the docks where they will house your horses and take care of them for a nominal fee. They'll give them food and everything. So there's a stables right there at the docks. And so anything you guys want to do on your ship before you get off into the city, let me know.
So on our trip, we've been, I've heard some of you calling this Lady Hawk a ship. It's not very big. It's really more of a boat. But I gotta say, coming to Kladvina is the best thing to do if you're ever feeling a little, insecure about the size of your boat.
Wouldn't be able to leap over a pole with this boat.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Very timely. Awesome.
Except when this comes out, that's going to be like months after the event.
Yeah, it won't be that funny then. Sorry.
Exactly.
But it's
it
great
works
now.
for us.
So we can tell the listeners, just pretend like it was like perfectly timely.
The docks where you have moored your ship, your boat. Is it you've moored it? You've parked it?
Well, same. Yeah, it's moored. Mm-hmm.
Moored. Where you've moored your boat is a place in the city called Dockside. Dockside is on the east side of the city. It's basically the city is almost like a triangle, kind of a abstract triangle, where the western side is much larger north to south, and then the eastern side, it kind of narrows to not really a point, but it kind of narrows out, and it's called Dockside there on the east side. You can see that there are houses and temples here. You see that there's a lot of like shipping and other industries, a lot of mercantile districts, that kind of thing. You see shops, but one thing that you do see when you get off the ship is you can see that there are bridges nearby that cross these small canals, these like 50 feet, 60 feet wide canals. And as you guys are kind of looking around the city, you recognize, first off, this is a much bigger city than Redlum. This is at least 4 times the size of Redlum. And it's broken up into all these islands. You've heard people talk about how it's the 50 islands of Kladvina. Supposedly there's, it's actually made up of 50 separate islands. You don't know if that's hyperbolic or if that's actually the count. But
I think, looking at the map, it's the epitome of hyperbole.
So I counted them out, and I think it's exactly 50. So,
okay.
Nice.
He's the wrong kind of autistic. That's Bob's Burgers.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So you are looking around at this massive city. I guess not even knowing where to begin, you see a couple of people wandering around the docks. You see there's like a young boy who's wandering around. He's got like basically a newspaper, like a pamphlet in his hand, and he's calling out. He's
talking about forming a union.
No. He's a young boy. He's got the fantasy
just by saying so.
He's got the fantasy equivalent of a newsboy cap on, and he's calling out. And you hear him saying,
Which is a newsboy cap.
I mean,
fires from Derrigan Village finally out as the necro purge continues. Fires from Derrigan Village finally out. And then you hear him a little bit later call out, Darkside Devourer claims another victim. Authorities seek person of interest. So you see this kid walking around holding out this newspaper, calling out the different headings. And as you are watching,
Mawgrim would go and take a few like coppers or whatever it would take to get one of those.
I like, here you go, governor, Geely Cly. And then he hands 2 cents a pape. Yes. And then he hands you a newspaper.
Are you saving for a trip to Santa Fe?
So I have not seen the movie Newsies. Apparently it's a Broadway musical again now, or it is, whatever. So all I remember is suddenly I'm the king of, or look at me, I'm the king of New York. That's all I remember.
there was the friend, the Vinny from Doogie Howser.
From Doogie Howser, yes. So that's the other thing that I remember. Okay.
And Christian Bale.
Oh, that's right. Well, Mawgrim, you get this paper, and it has different headlines on it. You can read more about it. And as you're reading, you also see there's another figure who is approaching you. It is this older dwarven man. He's got a long kind of gray and white beard, and he's calling out, he's like, "Oh, hey, welcome to Kladvina. Welcome to Kladvina." And he kind of approaches your group. And he's like, You guys look new to the town. It looks like you could use some help getting around. I can show you the sights for a small fee. I take you out on my boat. And he points over to this small little gondola.
Well, gee, that sounds romantic.
It does sound romantic.
It does seem like we need transportation.
And honestly, it might not be bad. It's been a long time since I've been to Kladvina.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's been a long time since you've been on a boat, and then I was going to get really mad at you.
It's been a long time since I've been on a real boat with a real captain.
And then here comes my inferiority complex about the size of my boat again.
He said, oh gosh.
You have a decent sized boat, but his is much longer and skinnier.
If that's what you're into.
Well, his oar is quite a bit longer, too. You see that stick?
Anyway, he says, well, you could get to anywhere you want in Kladvina. It's going to take you a lot longer than if you go by gondola or by rowboat. I'd be happy to show you the sights. He says, what do you say?
How much for the tour?
He's like, I'll give you all the tour. He kind of points at him. He says, 2 gold for you, please. I'll take you all around town, show you all the sights.
Mawgrim will go ahead and hand him the 2 gold.
Okay, perfect.
All right, Mawgrim, you're really getting in with the locals here.
Danon, are you going to come with us, or are you going to go find some animals to befriend?
She says, no, actually, I was going to go and see if I can find the Druid Circle here close by. Where should I find you when I need to get in touch with you?
Before she leaves, Cilvy does want to ask her, Danon, as we entered into Kladvina, do you feel any extra sense of unease or unnatural wildness?
She thinks about it for a second and she says, no, not anything worse than it was a day or 2 ago. But I do feel it here. She says, she thinks about it for a second. She says, it does not seem it seems different, but not as potent as it did in Redlam those last few days before you had your encounter with Jib Jab.
That makes me wonder if maybe Jib Jab is hiding outside of the city. This is a much bigger place, far greater population than Redlam.
As you guys think about it, you're like, they may not have even gotten here yet. You know, they may be close, but may not have gotten here, just depending on time. Even going across country, you guys were much faster moving by river.
So where do we meet you then, Danon? We could leave word at the docks. If you want to come back to the boat, just to we'd have to let the dockmaster know where the owner of the boat would be anyway. So I think we could...
that or... If we were going to stay in the city, there is a rather impressive hotel that I remember. It's in the Old Ward, and I have mixed feelings about being in the Old Ward because that is typically where the Ionians will be. But it is a nice hotel.
And then the dwarf guy, he speaks up and goes, the Grand Towers Hotel, that's what you're talking about?
Yes, I believe that was what it was called.
I'll make sure to swing by and show you guys on our trip.
That would be wonderful, but we could arrange to at least meet with her there if that is amenable to all of you.
Do they have a bar?
I believe so.
Then I'm in.
When you ask if they have a bar, then the dwarf speaks up and he says, yep, Grand Towers Hotel. Best food and best place to stay in town, if I do say so myself. It's expensive, but well worth it.
We saved a town. So I think, and we were rewarded for it. So I think we'll be okay.
We've also got the key to the city. Not this city, but it seems to work with most cities.
Sorry, we didn't introduce ourselves. We're Wilhelm and Associates, heroes of the realm.
He says, well, nice to meet you.
Kind of a big deal.
Nice to meet you, Wilhelm. And he kind of looks around and he kind of clocks the Wilhelm and the accent. And he looks at Mawgrim and he goes, Wilhelm and Associates. So I'm Einar Deepstone and I show people around town.
What was your first name? Something Deepstone?
Einar.
Einar Deepstone. Okay, well, show us around. And then, yes, Danon, we'll meet you at these giant towers, whatever they're called.
I would like to make a stop at a smithy, perhaps the best one in town, while we're at it.
I'll make sure to point that out as well on our trip. Why don't you all aboard? And then as you guys are getting aboard the gondola, Danon says, "Yes, I'll meet you at the what is it called again? The Grand Towers Hotel. Sorry,
Yeah, the Grand Towers Hotel.
I am updating my notes right now.
So I'm excited for this because I've not been to Kladvina in a long, long time, not since I was a much younger man. So I was born and raised in the Pithrian barony in a town called Puddleford. And so it is exciting to be back here.
Puddleford. Yes, Puddleford down on Nightbloom Lake. Yes. I haven't been there for a long time, but I passed through there on my way back home on occasion.
Yes, I too have not been back for decades now.
Well, hop on in.
Puddleford sounds like a beautiful town.
It is
you
not.
can't laugh
It
like
is-
that while saying that.
It is grey and dismal, so
Sounds like you need to bring a pair of galoshes with you.
yes, it is wet, very moist town. Unreasonably moist all the time.
Ben Shapiro hates it.
Oh my gosh. As you guys hop aboard his gondola,
What's the gondola's name? Our boat is called the Lady Hawk, but we've been thinking of changing it. What's your boat's name?
it's thank you so much. It's pull package.
Pole package?
Full package.
So yes, see, I pull along with this big pole, and I, of course, my precious cargo. Are you my travelers?
I like to think of you almost as children swimming through the canals.
He's like, oh no, you don't want to swim in these canals. I don't. You don't want to swim in these canals. Poop and pee goes right into it.
This place is so romantic.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Mawgrim?
This place is so romantic. I think I already gave my response.
As you're filling up vials, it's just in the water.
Like a file into the canal water.
All right,
That's for later.
as you guys,
One for science, one for me.
who am I kidding? Two for me. As you guys begin, he starts to pull down one of these canals. There's right at the docks. So he's going to take you all the way through town. You see that there are these bridges that go across the canals in multiple places. He does warn you, though. He's like, hey, you can get anywhere on foot, but it will take lots of time. There's no straight route anywhere. But don't worry, there are these gondola taxis all around, and for relatively cheap, you can get where you want to go. So here, let me show you. And he starts heading north along a canal here in Dockside. And he points to this massive, beautiful, if it was anywhere else, you would say it was like a cathedral. But it's got like these stone towers, big stained glass windows. It's got this beautiful purple tile roof, and it's massive. It's probably the largest single structure in the whole city, except for one other structure, which we'll get to later. He says, over there you've got the Palace of Monarchs, some of the most beautiful fresco work you've ever seen, and it depicts the reigns and achievements of Kladvina's illustrious past as a country unto itself. If you like paintings with butchered and subjugated elves, make sure you head there during your time in the city. And then he looks over at Yugi and he's like, moving on.
I'm one of those self-loathing elves.
Well, you seem to have a great confidence, Key.
Moving down, you guys head along a couple of the canals. You take a couple turns. One thing that he does not point out, but that you instantly recognize, Mawgrim, is that you recognize this large structure. It looks like a bunch of different buildings. They're all built in the same style, connected with walkways and basically like covered walkways and raised bridges going from one building to the next. You recognize it as like a Krahanest chapter house. So like the city has a Krahanest presence in addition to whatever Aeonin presence is here. He doesn't point it out. You're not even sure if he knows necessarily what it is as he is going down the canal. But as he goes down the canal, he points off further to the north, which is now to the right. He says, that way is the castle. That way is Bog's End Castle. That's the only castle that's actually built to defend us from land. Because, I mean, honestly, who's going to be able to get an army across that bog up there? So the causeways is that way. If you want to leave the city by land, that's really the only way that's safe to get onto the road is going through Bog's End Castle. It's open most days until nightfall, and then they close it up tight. He continues on down through the canals and keeps pointing out different things. He says, now we're entering
Hey, Paul, really quick, can
Yes.
can you indicate on the map where those things you've mentioned so far are?
Yes.
Or
Bog's
even
End-
just move our little token.
This,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is Bog's End there, yeah.
Okay, there's the monarchs.
Gotcha.
Here's Krahanes Chapter House. Here is Bog's End Castle.
Oh, I was right. Okay.
As you are moving along, he points to this beautiful small temple, and this is different than the other places that you've seen so far because it's an island with no bridge. Right? It is like it's this temple is the whole island, and it's surrounded by water, and there's a small dock. And he says, that's the Shrine of Savris, a beautiful place filled with quiet spots to rest and just think. In times past, the attendants there would tell your fortune for a small fee, but that practice has since become frowned upon. And then he continues to paddle down the river, and he shows you this beautiful, oh, I'm on the wrong map.
I was just remembering that in Newsies, there was one kid with a crutch, and his name is literally Crutchy.
Crutchy. Yeah.
Oh gosh, sometimes those things are so bad.
Okay, but Crutchy
my
was a
gosh.
scab, guys.
Hey.
Wait, no, he wasn't.
But he was a cripple, so you got to
Didn't
give him
he?
some
Man.
slack, man.
Didn't he work? I'm pretty sure at the end, didn't he work for the... I don't remember.
No.
It's been a long time since I've
Jack
seen the movie.
became a scab.
No, I think Crutchy might have told where.
Crutchy ended up in the boys' home.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He did end up in the boys' home.
Yeah, but doesn't he tell like where they can find Jack, and that's how they end up getting him?
Probably. But yeah, anyway, his name was Crutchy.
Yep, his name was Crutchy.
As you're continuing on, he points to another building here in the old ward, and it is this kind of it's kind of adobe-ish or like marble. It doesn't like fit in with the rest of the buildings around. It has this very this building actually does kind of have like a Mediterranean feel. And he goes, that's Lyra's Theater. I hear they're currently doing a run of the musical Unlikely, but prices are super steep. And then he points to a building right next to it, and it's this. Why are you
We've
laughing?
seen that play.
Okay, good. You did recognize it as the same place. Yes. He points to
Perhaps they need
building.
another stand-in.
Did you keep the dress, Ornan?
Oh, you better believe it.
Oh gosh. He points to the building right next to it, and it is this, it's more stone, but the ceiling, the roof, is actually these domes of glass. He says, that's the glass house of Shantea. Flowers and plants bloom there year-round thanks to those ceilings of glass. They also run a food kitchen for those that are down on their luck. And then he points past that building to another building that you recognize. It looks like it's a round tower that goes up like probably 5 or 6 stories, but it's been split down the middle and separated. So it's like 2 halves of a tower. You recognize the same pattern of a Prolian archive. He says, there's the Prolian archives. Yeah, we've got one here too. Never had much need to go in there. And then he continues paddling along. As he leaves this canal, he enters into a wider canal. And this is the Great Serpent. This is the canal that wends its way and separates out kind of the old ward and like the new ward, kind of the north and the east from Bridgetown and, sorry, not Bridgetown. Is that what it's called? Bridgetown? Sorry. From Bridgetown and Waterways, which is more of the very, very segmented, small little island part of the city. He says, this is the Great Serpent. It's a main thoroughfare through the city, the only canal wide enough for anything bigger than these gondolas and rowboats. Well, I mean, besides the Grand Canal, but that's more of a constructed river than a canal. And as you continue on, he points across the Great Serpent. He points to 2 different buildings that are kind of, they're spaced out. There's a lot of like there's some houses here on this little island, and there's a large bridge that goes across the Great Serpent. He says that's the only bridge that'll get you across the Great Serpent. Otherwise, you got to take a gondola or a rowboat. And he points to these two buildings, and he says that's the Court of Knights and the Court of Clerics. The local clergy and the lesser nobles of Kladvina meet in their respective houses to help direct the affairs of the barony. The Court of Clerics is currently led by Archprelate Gladys or Agnes, something like that, and the of the Aeonids. And the Knights Court is headed by Count Cortimer Lapland of Vekgard. And then he points past it, and you can see that there is this castle. This castle looks different than the castles that you saw that kind of surround the city, which are more for defense. This castle's kind of right in the middle of the city. This beautiful edifice is Kladvina Castle. It's not nearly as defensible as the other castles in the city, but it's still a formidable building nonetheless, built on two islands. Only entrance is on the North Island, and the main keep is situated on the South Island, accessible only after crossing a high drawbridge. While the Baroness is away, her Captain General Count Romuald Orzel of Wadeport has been put in charge. And so you see this castle that takes up two of these islands is right there. Very good. You continue along around the Great Serpent, and he continues pointing out different places. He points to the north. He says, that's the New Ward. Not much to see in the New Ward. It's less desirable than the other districts in the city. I think most folks see it less defensible. So when those nasty knife ears come on us through the bogs, then that'll be the first place to fall. And then he kind of realizes what he said, and he kind of looks over again. Yeah, pardon. Please excuse me. And then he continues on.
No, it's true. We are nasty.
He continues on quickly trying to...
Think how hard it is to keep your ears, your tiny little ears, clean, and now double them and make them pointy, more corners and things. They are always filthy. Just nasty.
Man, should we shove this guy overboard? I don't appreciate the racism, dude. Like, I'm ready. I think Sylvie's ready to shove him over. Make it look like an accident.
Maybe he should make an insight check to just see how sardonic Guy has been.
Let's see. Let's make an insight check. He assumes that his apology is enough, and he continues on, pointing out quickly another building, and he says, "That's the Temple of Lathander. Just so you know, you should go there in the morning. Everyone should hear the singing that comes from the rising tower. They sing at dawn every day. They start as soon as the sun peaks up above the horizon, and they don't stop until the whole damn orb is visible in the sky." And then he points in the far distance, way off to the north and the west. And you see this large building. It's round, circular. You see flags that are around the outside. It doesn't have a roof on it, doesn't look like. He says, that massive arena is the Tempestarium. You can see some good sport there on occasion, but it's usually reserved for military trainings. And then he points, as you continue along, he's like, this island, this is the Hammer. If you need your hull mended or you're looking for that kind of work, lots of shipwrights on the Hammer and all that goes with it. Blacksmiths making nails and tacks, tailors sewing sailcloth, folk tying nets, that sort of thing. As he continues down,
would that be where Ornan would find his blacksmith?
What kind of work are you looking for?
Well, I need more of a weaponsmith specialist. I have an idea in mind of something I'd like constructed.
If you need a weaponsmith, stick to the Old Ward or stick to Waterways. That's where you're going to find any blacksmith worth the piss.
Do you hear that, Mawgrim? Apparently they use piss as a currency here.
Oh, and I have jars of it, so we should be totally fine.
I see why you've been saving it.
Yeah, it's not weird, guys. This is super normal here.
Mawgrim, this place is magical.
I feel so at home right now, guys.
As he continues down the Great Serpent, you can see that the Great Serpent canal, it actually empties out into the lake. He turns and heads back into one of these smaller canals before emptying out into the lake. But he does point at this last structure. It's this massive castle there at the end. And he says, that's Westwatch. It's at the end of the canal. It's one of our castles. There's catapults and ballistas peppering the walls, ready to sink any force trying to sneak down the river from Thalassanara. And you guys would know Thalassanara is like the closest elvish city from the nation to the north.
Okay, that's it. As he says that, is he standing up and piloting this gondola?
Oh, yeah, he's in the back. He's pushing along with this pole.
As he says that, Sylvia's just going to cause just a small minor illusion that just is the biggest like bike horn in his ear. Sorry for the swearing, but I don't like this guy. And my hope is that he falls overboard and just like, and then we can help him up. Like we're not going to be dicks about it. But
so what is the difficulty for your minor illusion to detect that it's an illusion or not?
If a creature uses its action to examine the sound or the image, it can determine that it's an illusion with an investigation check against your spell save DC.
Okay, and how loud can it be? Because I know thaumaturgy can make like a loud noise.
Its volume can range from a whisper to a scream.
Oh, so you're going to scream in his ear. Okay, he's going to make a dexterity saving throw.
I don't know. Wait, what is my, whatever it is that I need?
Just your spell casting difficulty.
If you go to the spells tab at the very top, it'll say your spell DC.
Isn't there a song called Whisper to a Scream? Birds fly. Do 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 do.
Why would you ask that question when you know the answer, Matt?
I was trying to remember if that was the name.
Whisper to a scream. As all of a sudden there is this honk in his ear, he loses his balance and goes overboard, falling out of the gondola and starts splashing around. Like, oh, get me out of this! Get me out of the water! You can see here also, if you look at the map, the water is nice and blue. When you get up close, you see that the water is definitely more brown than anything. It is not clear, not
I'll
clean.
let Guy decide when to help him up.
Oh heavens! You fell overboard. Here, let me help you. And I'll reach out my hand and keep pretending like it's slipping off. Oh, this water's very like slimy. Here, let me help you, and I'll eventually help him in.
Okay, you help him in. He's like, oh, what in the devils was that? And then he kind of like starts looking around. He is going to do an investigation now to see about the bicorn, if he can figure out what happened. He got a 14. What is
15?
Oh gosh, barely.
Nice.
He starts like shaking his head, trying to get water out of his ear, and he starts like pushing on the tragus or whatever in the ear, like trying to like suction out all the water. He's like, something. Ugh, I might have to go get my ears checked.
You know, my friend here's a physician. He might be able to help you. And what is that you're always saying, Mawgrim? The solution is always urine.
Well, yes. I mean, half the time. If it is not urine specifically, it is a derivation of urine or a distillation of urine. So, yeah.
If it's not urine specifically, it's urine adjacent. He's like, well, if it's urine, then I've already got some in there. So hopefully that fixes everything. Well, let's continue on with the tour. You can see he's like starting to shiver and stuff because it's cold. I mean, you guys are way up north, and it is chilly out. And now he is soaked to the bone. You can see his teeth start to
Good,
start
I hope
to
he
chatter.
gets a cold.
So tell me, as we're heading back, you have all these fortresses here to protect you from hostile neighbors. How long has it been since the last time you were, there's been a conflict here in Kladvina?
In Kladvina? He starts thinking about it. Mawgrim, you can make a history check as well since you're from here. He says, in Kladvina, I think that there were some skirmishes, I don't know, a decade or two ago, maybe 15 years.
Okay. So still, like, within living memory?
Oh, definitely within living memory. Yes. And that's not to mention the times that we've marched up through the pass and gone to Thalassonara. You made war up there, too. It's a constant back and forth.
There's always been tension there. My father was stationed here at Westwatch a long time ago, and he would tell us stories every now and then of altercations or events that he witnessed and tell us stories of the beauty of the city. It was quite interesting.
Oh.
As you guys continue your trip through the canals, and as Einar continues to shiver as he continues to try to give you the best tour of the city that he can now that he is freezing, I want everyone to make perception checks. He says, that's the Temple of Selûne. Not very big, but they got this patio where folk gather to stare at the night sky and stuff. And what did you guys get?
You got a 21.
So we got nat 20.
Okay.
Ornan got a 14.
I do not have my shield out, so we'll just do a normal roll. Only a 13.
As you guys are moving through along these canals, as he's pointing out the Temple of Selûne, Cilvy and Guy, you both see something that sparks a memory. You see that there is this bridge that goes across the canal, and on one corner you can see that there is what looks like an inn or a tavern of some kind. It's kind of run down and beat up, and you see that right next to that inn there is a small like shed or shack or something, and on the other side of the shack you see that there is a blacksmith out right now currently pounding on his anvil. And then you continue to pull on by.
I'll touch my nose at Cilvy. That's a thieves' cat way of saying, hey, did you see that? Make note of that.
Sylvie's just going to start picking her nose as a confirmation. She's going to assume that's the appropriate way to confirm that she saw the signal.
So, one more question. Did you ever point out a temple to Iona?
Oh, the temple to Iona. Oh, it's way back on dockside. It's basically right back where we started. Tell you what, we'll pull off here, and he pulls off. He pulls back into the Great Serpent, and then across the way back to the Old Ward.
Oh my gosh, he pulled off the Great Serpent.
I think that's illegal.
That's what I call it.
Jeez. He says, he pulls off, he pulls up to one of these little docks. You see along the canals, there are these little docks and little piers with like mooring, like posts that stick up into the air. You can see that gondolas and rowboats are tied off everywhere. You see people are pulling along these canals. So like there's people moving about the city all the time. But he pulls off to one of these ones that's kind of down along. It's a bigger one, and it actually opens up onto this large kind of triangular square. And at the end of the square, at the point of the square to the north, you can see that is where the Grand Towers Hotel is. He points back up that way. He says, that's the Grand Towers Hotel, just up this main thoroughfare. It's expensive, but if you mention you took my tour, they'll cut you a deal and give you a free drink when you book your room.
I love walking tours or non-walking tours.
He's like, if you're looking for the Temple of Iona, and he points back past it, you can see rising up above, you can see the Prolian Archive. He says, if you head towards the Prolian Archive and then head a little bit further east, you'll see the Temple of Iona. It's actually right there at dockside, right along the docks. It's there.
Great. I mean, awesome. Well, thank you for your tour, and we'll be sure to throw your name around at the Grand Towers.
He's like, yeah, and he kind of holds out a hand. He helps you guys all up out of the gondola, and then he holds out a hand.
Sylvie's gonna slap that hand, and like a slap to a fist bump, you know, like a you slap down to his hand, you kind of pull down, and you fist bump it, like, you know, and that's it.
He says, thank you, kind miss, and then he holds out his hand to everybody else.
Mawgrim will put a couple of silvers in there.
He's like, thank you so much. Enjoy your time here in Kladvina. And then he starts pulling the boat back over towards the docks to try to find some more people who are looking for a tour of the city. And now you guys have seen basically what there is, at least the large landmarks in the city of Kladvina.
Did you guys see that? Over there by the Temple of Selune. Saloon?
Selune? Selune?
I don't know. The moon goddess temple. Over there by the moon goddess temple. I think Cilvy and I saw it as well. I think that is where our note from underneath. Oh, geez, going way back. Trying to remember all the names. Remember that note we found from
between the silver and the.
Mm-hmm.
There was a silver and a blacksmith.
All right.
I think that was it. That was the shed and the willows and the blacksmith. Yes. So keep that in mind. It was just right over there. Actually not far from where we're at right now.
Not too far. If you guys can get on another gondola, you guys can get there actually pretty quick. If you guys want to go by land, it's going to be a long walk to get there.
We should maybe vet our gondola drivers better. I don't want to get hate crimed.
Yes.
Let's. Mawgrim would know that. I mean, that's how it is up here. The people here he was actually on a scale from like 1 to 10 as far as how much people hate elves up here. He was like a 3. You know that it gets much worse.
Yeah.
All right. Helmet on.
So as you guys are walking towards this Grand Towers Hotel, Annalise says, well, now I know where to find you. I'm actually going to go over to the Temple of Iona and make myself known, say some prayers, and I'll come find you at the hotel later.
I will actually follow her a little ways off because I wanted to have a quick little chat with her.
Okay. Yeah, you two start wandering off. As you guys are walking towards the Grand Towers Hotel, I imagine also, Mawgrim, you would want to read like the rest of the headlines on that newspaper that you bought.
Yes.
Okay. So we already got the fires of Darrigan Village are finally out as the Necro Purge continues. You see the headline, Dockside Devourer claims another victim. Authorities seek person of interest. The next one is Unlikely opens to a sold-out crowd. Daria receives tepid reviews.
Daria, she's back.
And well, yeah, you guys took out the guy who was like threatening to kill her. And then the next one, there's 2 more headlines. Only 2 days left to sign up for the Feast of Sweets 4-on-4 tournament. Interested foursomes sign up at the Tempestarium main offices. And then the last one, arrests doubled under Count Romuald Orzel as Baroness Martina Komaric still in Mirloff.
Interesting. Would you be able to send me the text for that just so I can copy that into my
100%.
notes?
Sure thing. I'll just send them
Thank
to
you.
everybody. Yeah.
Is that a pie eating contest?
That's what I was wondering.
So you guys would know
for
a name like
pie eating contest.
I can throw back a pie or two.
Oh, I bet.
Why don't you guys make religion checks?
Right.
This sounds like my kind of church.
Oh God, is it a dirt pie?
Ornan got a 1.
Oh, Guy only got a 4.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, it very well could be pie. 100%.
Mawgrim got a 22.
So we got 19.
Okay. So Cilvy and Mawgrim, you guys are like, ugh. With the name like the Tempestarium, you think it must be related to the god Tempest, who is like the lord of battles. So it's some kind of an arena where it's probably going to be combat.
That's a bit misleading.
But then where are the sweets?
So,
I think it is a typo. I think it's supposed to be Feast of Sweats 4-on-4 tournament.
That
you
makes
guys
sense.
you guys would know that the Feast of Sweets is a holiday, and so apparently there is a competition going on.
Is it Fantasy Thanksgiving?
It is not Fantasy Thanksgiving. No.
Is it Halloween?
At this point, you're closer to Halloween. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if there's no pie, I don't know if I'm interested.
All right.
Honestly,
okay,
could you
so
imagine trying to fight in a tournament and hide our abilities? Like, they'd have to be a bunch of wieners.
that's true. As Annalise steps away and Guy, as you follow her, what did you want to say? She's walking towards the docks.
Annalise, is everything okay?
She turns back. Of course. Why? What's on your mind?
I mean, you're headed to a temple of Iona, and we all noticed that you were a little uncomfortable when we ran across some of your former colleagues in Whitaker Bend, and I was just wondering if you were worried at all about word getting out here about. I don't know the circumstances of your departure. But are you worried at all about reports of a derelict prelate or, someone who's gone AWOL?
She says, yes, and honestly, I was probably a little bit too open in Martin's Rest. I didn't foresee the backlash that the Temple of Iona would have gotten in Redlam until I saw Prelate Lucius in Whitaker Bend. So I've decided that I'm going to use a fake name, and I'm going to take on the rank of acolyte and not be a prelate. But yes, I am nervous at this point.
Well, if you need anything, I mean, obviously we have our feelings about Iona in general, but I think, if nothing else, the past days have established some kind of camaraderie, some kind of trust, regardless of the foundations of our relationship. And I care that you feel safe and that you have a chance to do the things you want. And if you need anything, I'm sure any one of us would, maybe not Cilvy, but the rest of us would probably jump to help you out.
Whoa. I'm so helpful.
She she looks very touched, and she actually puts her hand on your forearm, and she says, "Thank you, Guy. That means a lot to me. Thank you very much."
You're welcome. And just so we don't start throwing around the name Annalise, especially if there's some stink on that name, what name will you be using?
Just call me Lisa.
Lisa. Okay. All right. I'll let everyone else know, but we'll see you back at the towers.
Okay. Right.
Go have fun praying.
Thank you.
Have fun praying.
All right. Okay. So she heads off to the Temple of Aona as you all approach the Grand Towers Hotel. The Grand Towers Hotel is as you're approaching it in this kind of square, this plaza, you see that it is an elaborate building. It has stone facade. It has big columns holding up like the roof, but it's got like the faux pediment up above, almost like a Greek or like a Roman palace. But it's got these big stone towers that one on each corner, 4 towers total, and the windows are all like stained glass. It has these large windows, big double doors. You have to walk up like a staircase of like 7 steps to get to the front door. You can see that there are people milling about in the front. You see there is a doorman standing at the front. This is like the Ritz-Carlton of hotels, but it's fantasy Ritz-Carlton. So it's the Grand Towers Hotel.
I was going to say, so it's the Carlton Banks Hotel.
Can I make a confession real quick?
Sure.
I didn't make a map for this hotel because I assumed you guys would be like, well, let's go to the Weather Willows Inn.
I honestly was going to suggest that, but then, we had already found a place and I don't want to be, unclassy.
Oh, gosh. All right, yeah. As you are approaching the this Grand Towers Hotel, you see that the person standing out front, they are wearing like this immaculate black jacket. It has little tails, like an 80s tuxedo jacket. It has like instead of having buttons that connect it, it has these 3 gold chains that hold one side to the other. And he's wearing like pants that are white, very, very bright. And he's standing up there as you approach. He opens the door and says, "Welcome to the Grand Towers Hotel." As you walk in, you are in this large open lobby. The lobby, you can see it is the floor is this immaculate tile work with intricate designs. As you kind of step back and look down at the tile work, you can see that it is actually like a mosaic that represents, it actually has like this large tower with a sun kind of over the top of the tower. And then at the far end of that mosaic, you see that there is a desk with people standing behind it. You see that on the left and on the right, there are these step down areas into like private, not really private, but little like bars and dining areas right there as you walk in. And then there are balconies because the lobby that you're in, you can look up and you can see around. There is a balcony that runs around at the 2nd floor. And then there's even a balcony up at the 3rd floor. And you can see people talking. You can see that everyone here is dressed nicely, not necessarily all like super rich. They're not wearing their tuxedos, their fantasy tuxedos, but this is definitely a different clientele than you guys are used to. So you walk in. Where do you guys want to go? Do you guys want to get some food? Do you want to go talk to the front desk and get a room? What's the plan?
Looking for a guy named Basil Faulty. Is he anywhere in the lobby?
I was going to look for basically a James Bond type character playing Baccarat somewhere.
I was going to say there's a Baccarat table. Yeah, no, this is very, very nice. You can see that there's like that the windows and stuff here in this lobby are stained glass, and in between the windows, you see that there's like drapery on the wall. So like these like really tall curtains are hanging down. Everything about this place just drips money. It drips. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it called when it's like there's a lot of money? Not gaudy, but like it drips
ostentatious.
Opulence. Opulence, not necessarily ostentatious, but opulence. It just drips like yeah, this is how certain people live their lives.
Oh, careful, guys. There's opulence dripping everywhere. You might step in it.
I think Mawgrim might actually pause, kind of thinking about this, and might turn to the group and say, it is a bit ostentatious of us to be here. It is likely that word of a outside party of adventurers booking a room in one of the more expensive hotels in the city may find its way to certain corners of the city in terms of the Ionians or the Krahanest. And so it's possible that maybe we should consider a little bit more humble lodgings while we're here.
We have spent the last how many days sleeping under a turtle shell on a boat with a bunch of horses. I'm staying here.
I think we should definitely listen to Mawgrim on this one. I think just as a group, we're going to stand out like a toadstool in a meadow or something. It's a dangerous situation. This isn't a place for me.
That was some really good folksy forest gnome colloquialism.
I am a forest gnome.
I worry about Danon, though. We told her that this is where we'd be. And if we find different lodgings...
Oh, God, can you imagine Danon staying here? You guys, come on, that's cruel.
I'm sure there's a fishbowl for her to sleep in.
Also, I really don't want to stay that close to kind of the target of our investigation. I don't want to be next door.
There has to be more than 2 inns in the city.
There are tons of inns in this city. You guys saw
Paul
them
only made maps
from the
for
canal.
one of them.
Hey, you know what? We have time before we record again. Just let me know what you guys want to do. But as you guys are talking about, maybe people will talk if they see these adventurers coming in. Literally, you are having this conversation as the door opens and you see 4 orcs walk in plate and chain and scale armor with weapons on their waists and on their backs. One of them's wearing like a fur cape, across their shoulders, and they just kind of walk right past, and people kind of are whispering and everything. And anybody's passive perception, I think that Mawgrim's the only one who picks this up. He's like, "Oh, is that Torgal? Torgal! Hey, that's Torgal's Tuskers. They're back!" And then they walk up to the front desk and they start talking with the clerk at the front.
Well, okay. I don't think we're going to stand out, everyone.
I think those folks stand out. I think they stand out. I don't think that we're making a case for ourselves not standing.
No, I think that we'll be like, oh, those guys, they're boring. They're like not orcs. Let's not talk about them. That's boring.
But these people seem well known.
Right, exactly. They'll be the ones we're talking about.
A couple of servants come out and they start grabbing like trunks and chests and hauling them up the stairs. And then these 4 orcs, 3 of them follow along. And then the 4th one kind of like looks around, scratches a little bit in some weird places, and then heads off into one of these bars that's down here, one of these little drinking areas.
I can think of normal places. What's a weird place to scratch? Scratches. Yeah. Anyway.
A weird place to scratch in public.
He scratches the other person's balls.
He scratches somebody else's codpiece.
Speaking of which,
stop you right there.
So we have just seen some orcs. Is pretty much everybody else human? Is there any like pockets of like destitute elves in the city or anything? Are there other races besides humans and then these 3 orcs or these 4 orcs?
Okay, so as far as the city, so I like to separate out my cities and towns. I learned this from a guy named Matt Colville, and he has a YouTube channel. It was great. I haven't listened to him in years at this point, but he talked about like figuring out populations. And so he talks about who's the dominant people and who are the minorities. And then are there any enclaves, like small little groups? Are there any like even smaller groups or individuals, or even like if there's like one singular person? So as far as Kladvina, dominant is definitely human, with the minority of dwarves and halflings. You see a lot of dwarves and halflings moving around. You have seen like small communities, like you see like a group of like 3 or 4 gnomes talking. You've seen a couple dragonborn walking through town. You have heard that there are some elves in the city, but they all tend to be in like the poorer areas, probably more like in the New Ward. And I'll say that you guys even saw not just orcs. You saw a couple of goblins at one point when you were here. You've seen a tiefling walking around. You've even seen a turtle. As you guys have been on your tour of the city. So this is a very multicultural type place. There's lots of different groups of people that you have not necessarily seen in other places that you've been. In fact, in the Grand Towers Hotel, you do see that there is a very finely dressed tabaxi who is having a conversation with another finely dressed Goliath, like straight up tall guy. I mean, his clothes are a little bit different. Like he's not like wearing his clothes are like more what's the word I'm looking for? Like he wears a lot of furs, but they look like the kinds of furs like a chief would wear or something like that. Like very, very well made. He's got like a little jewel that connects his cape at the neck. So you do see a lot of different groups of people, different races and different.
Like a fancy Viking.
Sure, yeah, a fancy Viking. Yeah, exactly. Get me my armor. Like that guy.
Like that guy from 13th Warrior, yeah.
Yes.
Guy already put his helmet on, and he's going to say, well, I think I'll just keep the helmet on while I'm in town. I'll make up some story about I've taken a vow. So I'll come up with something. So.
Okay.
You're just too handsome, so you've taken a vow to cover your face for the next year.
No, I got it, actually. Here's what I'll do, okay? So that nobody suspects me as an elf, I will tell people that I've taken a vow that I will wear my helmet in public until I've collected 50 elf ears or something really gross about being hateful to elves. Then nobody will think I'm an elf.
I don't know if we want to feed into that. That seems like, not ethically.
You could do that horrifying eye thing.
Oh, yes, I could. Then they wouldn't talk about my ears at all. They'd be talking about my 17 eyes.
That's right. We should count them next time. Make sure there are 17.
Oh, gosh. All right. So what are you guys going to do? You guys going to get rooms here? You guys going to go get some food?
Can we agree we don't want to stay here, or are we staying here?
Guy's going to start to pout.
I'm sure the beds are quite comfortable here.
We could try to stay here. Would it make sense to try to use pseudonyms?
Oh, I am flush with pseudonyms.
Have you got any for us?
Yes, I am really bad at pseudonyms.
Oh, great. Now I just claim to be flush with pseudonyms.
Okay, I came up with one
Consult
for Ornan.
the Chat GPT. Chat GPT.
I think Ornan should be Toonses.
Toonses?
Toonses.
That is better than Bob Bobberton, which is what I was going to suggest.
Is Toonses a reference to something that I'm not getting?
Toonses, the cat that could drive a car?
Oh.
Just not very well.
The driving cat. Oh my gosh. From Saturday Night Live. Okay.
I just think Toonses would be a good name for a gnome.
Okay.
I can be Sally. Class myself down
Sally?
a little bit.
By the way, Annalise is Lisa.
Oh dear, we're all getting them.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun for our listeners trying to keep track of who's whom.
All right.
You know what? We'll make it easy. I'll just be Ross Lacrosse again. And Mawgrim, you can be my brother. You could be,
Josh Lacrosse?
Chris Cross Lacrosse.
Chris Cross Lacrosse. I love it. We don't have to call each other that. I think it's just giving the name at the hotel desk in case they pass that on to the Krahnes of the Aeonians.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Okay, so you head up to the desk. You guys, I love you guys so much.
Greetings, concierge. My name is Ross Lacrosse, and this is my brother, Chris Cross Lacrosse. And
I'm Sally. I don't have a last name because I'm poor. But not so poor that I can't be here.
And I'm Toonses, a recurring character that drives a car.
We're new money.
Oh my gosh, I am sweating. I'm sweating. Yeah, exactly. Gosh. I am so sweaty right now, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so how does it really go?
What do you mean?
The concierge says, okay, Mr. Lacrosse, welcome to the Grand Towers Hotel. Would you each like your own room or would you like a suite?
Oh, a suite sounds sweet.
A suite.
I think a suite could work.
Yeah, did you see what I did there?
How many are in your party?
There will be 6 of us. Potentially some guests while we're staying.
Well, are some of you sharing a bed? We have a suite with 4 rooms.
Guy will look down at Cilvy and shrug.
I will share. I'll share with Annalise, and I think Danon will probably be able to figure out a place to sleep. We can get her a dog bed or something.
Mawgrim looks at Guy, and then he looks at Ornan, and he's just kind of smiling, waiting for one of them to say something.
Do we need 3 rooms? I think 1 would be fine for the 3 of us, right?
I will need my own lodgings. My own bed, thank you.
Well, Mawgrim,
Yes.
I think there should be plenty of room on a bed for the 2 of us.
Oh my gosh.
And you guys
I think that's a wonderful
You guys
idea.
are having this conversation in front of the concierge. The concierge is like, so you want the suite with 4 bedrooms? That's what you would like?
Yes.
Are there other options?
Oh, that will be...
Do you guys ever wonder why our listeners ship Jordan and Scott's characters all the time?
They've got chemistry.
Oh my gosh.
It's true. It's true. We're usually holding hands too. We don't always say it, but it's usually happening.
In my heart, I am picturing us mostly like staying awake and braiding hair and telling jokes and stories.
Sure, as long as we keep the urine stoppered with so we can't smell it, you know?
Cross my heart and hope to die, I will do nothing with urine during the night.
Look back at the concierge.
The concierge is like, actually, you're not the weirdest people who've come in here today. He says that will be 20 gold a night.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Who's weirder than us? Also, why would you call us weird? But who would you say is more unique than our group?
We have a certain clientele, but we do have people who come to town who they like the luxury, and it's it kind of looks off. He said, I don't know if you are aware of this, but Torgal and his Tuskers have just arrived.
Oh, I was not aware.
They, I believe, are here for the Feast of Sweets tournament. They won last year.
I was told it doesn't involve pie, so we will not be participating.
Thank you very much.
No, definitely not.
Well, but what do you get if you win?
Money.
Like how much money are we talking?
I don't know. You have to go and speak with the office there at the Tempestarium.
I mean, if we need a little bit of cash, perhaps it makes a little bit of sense.
Do you think you could win, Mawgrim?
The Lacrosse family has a reputation for being quite good in battle, he says, winking at Guy.
It's very true. In fact, I see, as you've noticed, I am wearing my helmet with the visor down, and I've taken a vow because I'm a great warrior, and yeah.
And I am Ross Lacrosse's much older brother who was sent away to boarding school far to the eastern side of the Pythrian barony, which is why I sound like this. This is very normal. So, anyway, you said 20 gold per night, right? Well, I'll give you 2 nights worth.
I got it. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll put the money back in my character sheet. I was gonna take it, but that's fine.
Okay, well, I'll do 2 nights worth, and then we go from there.
Okay, he hands you a key, and he says, all right, up the stairs, 3rd floor, room number 302.
And
I appreciate your generosity.
3.
Now I have the app on my phone. Would that open the door as well?
We do have a colleague, Lisa, who will be coming inquiring after us. If you could let Lisa know. our room.
Of course.
And another Danon will be calling for us as well.
Oh yes, Danon. Danon is a dwarf. Lisa is a human. Both women.
Not that it matters. Don't be racist about it, Cilvy will say to the concierge.
No, it's okay to call out if they're humans or dwarfs, whatever.
Well, that's fine. I just want to make sure he's not being weird about it.
What's awful is if they're those filthy elves.
I don't think elves are filthy. I quite like them.
You're gonna blow our cover, man.
He's been drinking a lot. He's already pretty drunk, so don't listen to him. Oh, those stupid elves. I'll tell you.
If you'll please step aside, I have more people who need to get checked in. Thank you very much. Third floor, room 302.
And don't forget the fighting lacrosses. Or something.
That's what they call us. That's our party name. The fighting lacrosses.
You guys are literally the lacrosse team.
Oh, man.
Yes, we're the lacrosse team. You know what's great, though, is that if you take the lacrosse and you put it in... and you say it in French, it's La Croix or LaCroix.
Best beverage ever.
So, did I do well? I'm pretty good at the pseudonym stuff, huh?
Yes. I think I only used your real name one time, Mawgrim.
All right. Pretty good.
As you guys are heading up the stairs, you see that every landing has like busts and has like drapery and a big portrait of some important person from Kladvina's past.
Hey, that statue over there, it's bussin'. Yes. I'm so sorry.
You guys get to the third floor and you see room number 302. As you open the door and walk in, you see that there is this. It is like a sitting room, and you can see there is like a couple of couches in there. There's a coffee table. See, there's 2 doors on either side of the room that go off into the bedrooms. You see there is a like a garderobe at the far end, and yeah, that is kind of it's. Gosh, you guys have thrown me for such a loop with all this talk.
Sorry. Is there a place in here to wash up? Is there a wash basin or something? Is there water? Okay.
There is a wash basin. There's also a bell that you can, like, there's a pull string there by the door to get into the suite. And if you pull that, it rings a bell out in the hall, and then some room service or a servant will come to get you something if you need something. But yeah, there's a little wash basin. There's a pitcher full of fresh water, and you guys can wash up. Oh, one other thing: as you were leaving the front desk, the concierge says, "Oh, and also dinners are semi-formal. Please, no weapons."
Can I bring my arms, because they're my deadly weapons? Flex.
And also, I hope armor's appropriate attire, because again, he's got this oath thing going on.
Semi-formal.
I understand.
Thank you.
Is dinner included in the 20 gold a day?
Dinner is, yes, but drinks are not.
Oh, this is one of those places. Okay.
It's not even all-inclusive?
Thank you.
What kind of excursions do you offer?
I want to see the Incan ruins.
So we go up to our room.
Some stingrays.
All right, so you guys are up in your suite. You can see that the rooms, each room has like a large 4-poster bed with like the drapery around it, the sheets around it. You can close it off. You know, there are big windows in each of the rooms to like let light in. There is like a chest of drawers that you can put your clothes in. There's a big wardrobe you can hang stuff up in. This is if you were living in a palace, this is what a room in a palace would look like.
Oh, hell yeah. Guy's going to get cleaned up. Guy's going to get cleaned up, and he's going to put his helmet back on afterwards, but he's going to like try to clean off some of the grime and stuff. But he's going to be putting on some of the nice clothes that he got way back in the day from the Ravenstone clan, from their leader. He stole some of his fancy clothes.
Oh, you did. That's right.
So he's going to be wearing those. No
Calem's
weapons.
Clothes.
Yes, Calem's clothes. He'll be wearing those clothes, not have any weapons on him. He'll have the scepter and kind of use it as a cane. Maybe see if he can make it look like a fancy cane. And then he will have his helmet on, though.
Okay.
Mawgrim's going to put on his canary yellow plague doctor outfit.
You're getting so much use out of that. I'm so happy you like it.
I
Oh,
love
gosh.
this. It feels like it's just me, you know? Like, I feel like I'm unlocking a piece of me I did not know I had.
All right.
I don't know that I have anything to wear. I do have that one necktie thing that sticks out to the sides.
The huge collar.
Yes.
The collar. There's only a little food on it, but I think it should look well enough.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, okay, so in all seriousness, it has been so fun to see the city, take a tour, find our new hotel room and everything. Mawgrim, did I hear right from that newsie that what was his name? Crutchy? That there's a
Governor?
a current necro purge going on here?
Yes, it said fires from Daragan village finally out as necropurge continues. You know, it sounded like the Krahnest was at the forward command, the Versameln. It was emptied because they've been on campaign. I wonder. I get the feeling that must be nearby. Which my suspicion, well, my recommendation rather, is let's try to avoid the eastern side of the city. Of Dockside in particular, where the Krahnest is located.
You mean where our boat is?
Well, I think in terms, our boat is there, is fine, but perhaps we don't try to spend as much time over on that side as we could.
All right. What names did we give the stable where we sheltered all our horses and dogs and stuff?
What names did you give? You didn't say anything about using special names.
I would have said Ross Lacrosse. Yeah.
Okay, then Ross Lacrosse. All right.
Sally, no last name because I'm too poor, but not too poor to afford this place.
That's your full title. That's how you introduce yourself everywhere you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can afford this place.
Oh my gosh. All right, what are you guys going to do? You guys going to hang out here for a little while, wait for Annalise and Danon?
Ornan would like to look for a blacksmith.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with you. I mean, Guy would want to look for somebody like a Gerard who might actually have some fancier items to sell.
Okay. Yeah, you actually right here in the old ward, and you guys are on this like plaza, and this is some of the fanciest shops in the city is right here. So you guys can find like expensive clothing. You guys can find, sort of trophies like artifacts. Artifacts is a big word to be throwing around in D&D, but one of a kind items, that kind of thing. This is a place where you could find that kind of thing. So yeah, you're looking for a blacksmith.
We also have some one of a kind items to sell. So
that is true. Okay, so we will say this. You find this kind of curio shop. As you walk in, you can hear the clanging of hammers, but it's coming from the back of the shop. Like you can tell, it's like there is this shop with the storefront, and then there's an alley that goes around behind, and then it looks like there's some kind of a blacksmith shop that's attached to the curio shop. So there's this blacksmith shop behind, and you can hear there's like some pounding going on back there. But it looks like they're connected. So if you go into the curio shop, you can see that there are like daggers that are on display on pillows. You can see that on the wall, there is this elaborately decorated longsword with like jewels all encrusted along the hilt with a big, huge, like almost like a robin's egg size sapphire for the pommel. You see these elaborate, not necessarily battle ready weapons, but definitely dress swords and axes, that kind of thing. You see there is some armor that is in here that is very, very well made. You see that like breastplates that have like a relief image of like a battle on them, or like you see a helmet that the visor is stylized and formed into the face of a beautiful woman whose mouth is open like she's singing. That kind of thing. The person standing behind the desk is this small little gnome, forest gnome. He's got this very, very well waxed mustache that kind of comes up, and it doesn't just do one curl, it does like two curls, and then the beard is forked into two forks that also like curl up in like a double curl on either side. His hair is dyed purple, and he's wearing like a jacket with a vest. Or not a jacket, like he's wearing like a shirt with a vest and some tight pants. As you enter into this shop, he's welcome. You saw some of the wares from outside. Anything that you're interested in particular?
Well, I think we have some things to sell, and I would like to commission a weapon.
A weapon?
And I'd like to know about that woman face helmet. That's the way it was described. That's rad as hell.
Well, yes, it was designed actually for a warrior who let's see. He kind of looks around and he kind of leans in close. He says, let's just say that her voice, She used magic powers. Shh, don't tell anyone. And part of it was her singing. And she commissioned this helmet for me, and then she decided it was too expensive. So here it sits.
It's beautiful.
What does it do?
Oh, well, I mean, it's beautiful.
It protects your head, Ornan, like your helmet.
All right. I still don't think my question was answered.
Oh, you mean, is there any sort of enchantment upon this?
Yes, that.
He says, no, not on this. I do have other items that do have some old enchantments on them, and sometimes we're able to rework certain items to change them, or to maybe. For example, taking a knife that might have some sort of enchantment and maybe putting that knife into a longer blade and make it into, say, a short sword or an arming sword. That sort of thing. We do that on occasion. But you said you have some things to sell. Please, let me see. I'm very interested.
I'm very interested now as well. But that helmet is really cool. I mean, this sounds awesome. I would wear it. That would be great. But then we'd have to change the artwork.
Cilvy does kind of want to ask, do you have any idea where to find this woman who is allegedly a Pahoftma?
Oh, let's see. That was commissioned about 2 months ago. We finished it about a month and a half ago. I don't know if she's still in town. But her name is, and he goes back to his random name generator. He goes back to his ledger.
Good save, Paul.
Thank you.
I understand if she's poor and she doesn't have a last name.
Well, she says her name was Ileana Emberglow. And she was performing here in town for a while. I don't know if she's still around, but she may be in town for the tournament coming up, for the Feast of Sweets.
You said she sings, though. She may also be part of the theater troupe that's performing Unlikely.
Oh, yet have you seen it yet?
Don't have to. I lived it.
Yes, we were performers in it once.
Yeah. You know the chamber pot salesman? That was me.
The chamber pot salesman, he has the best line in the whole play. You remember? It's and he kind of points to you to give the best line in the whole play. Go for it. Go ahead.
Yes, they're beautiful enough to put a flower in, but you're supposed to crap in this.
Yes, I love that line. Yes, so beautiful that they should be on display. Yes,
that's right.
Jesus, you guys were so stupid.
Okay, so we have some things we'd like to sell. Again, that helmet does look great. So we have. So what do we have?
Well, it's yours for 25 gold.
Oh. That might be a good disguise helmet, I think to myself. But let's just right now out of character. Let's get it together. Kind of the things that we want to sell, right?
Yes.
We have the Hellhound cloak. I have a random great sword.
Okay.
That I picked up somewhere.
Okay, the random greatsword you can sell for half the price of a purchase. So 25 gold, I think, is what it would be.
Okay.
I'll just add that to my inventory now.
I was hoping to sell the +1 Elvesbane sword and use that to commission something.
Okay, we'll get to that one in a second.
Okay.
Anything else you guys want to sell?
No, I think that's probably it.
Everybody looking through their inventory to make sure there's not something else in there.
Yeah, I don't have anything, I don't think. That's exciting.
I still have 3 statues in my backpack from ages ago. I
From
can sell those.
the roadside ruins.
From the roadside ruins.
Yeah, probably not the place to sell them, but we'll say that there's another place nearby, like that deals in art and stuff, and you can sell those. I think that we talked about what they would cost. I think it's like 50 gold for the 2, you have 3 of them, you said?
Yeah, I think 1 was gold and 2 were stone.
Yeah, I think the 2 stone ones you can get like 50 gold a piece, and the gold one is going to be 250 gold.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So those are the things we can sell. Okay.
Cool. The Hellhound cloak, he is fascinated by this cloak. He takes a big sniff of it. Whew. Yes, I mean,
smells delicious, right? I think it's a cloak of unlimited deviled eggs. I think is what we said.
He will offer you 2,000 gold for it.
Is there a barter skill?
Yeah, you can do a persuasion.
Okay, I'm holding on to my scepter, and I'll say, we were looking for closer to 3,000.
Okay, make a persuasion.
Come on, big money.
Get to beat a 16.
I got a dirty 20.
It's like 2250 is as far as I can go.
Make it an even 23, and we got a deal.
One more persuasion check. You have to beat a 9.
I got a 14.
You drive a hard bargain. 23. Here you go.
All right, mark that down.
Ornan, you pull out this greatsword of Elves Bane greatsword. His eyes light up. What? Where did you find this beautiful piece of work? You guys make insight checks as he's looking at it.
We met in Beregrad. Oh, you're talking about the sword.
Oh, yes. We did meet in Beregrad, actually. You said insight on him?
Insight, yes.
Ornan got a 14.
Sylvie got a 17.
You got an 11.
Mawgrim got a 21.
Okay. Mawgrim and Cilvy. Cilvy, you're the one that I really wanted to make sure that you got this check. You recognize when he says beautiful piece of work, he's not talking about the fact that there are dead elves like engraved into this blade. He's talking about the fact that it's a very beautiful, potent, elaborate weapon. So you're not getting the instant racist vibes that you've been getting from everybody else here in town. But you also, with your 21 and your 17, you recognize his eyebrows shoot way up and then he drops them back down. You recognize he is trying to control his reaction. And Guy and Ornan, he did a pretty good job, but nothing gets past the Bloodhound and the guy who collects pee.
That's right. Nothing gets
say.
past the urinator.
All right. He says, where did you find this blade? This is very interesting, very well made.
Oh, well, a gentleman never tells where he gets his things, you know?
Did you steal it? Did you kill for it?
Oh, of course not. No.
Because I don't deal in stolen goods. And Cilvy and Mawgrim, you recognize both that he's willing to deal in he's stretching the truth. He's willing to deal in stolen goods if they're good enough. Yes.
No, it's not stolen. We found it while we were adventuring. We're adventurers, you see.
There's all kinds of ancient, forgotten locations. If you just, know what to look for, you can find all kinds of crazy things. Like
And I
this
can
fan,
promise
and I
you-
bust out the fan.
Any owner of anything we sell you is dead. Any previous owner.
It's like, okay. Maybe I shouldn't sell you anything then. He looks at the sword and he says, I will offer you 1,200 gold for this.
Come on, let's go. We can go find somebody who will pay us what it's really worth.
Wait. You drive a hard bargain. I'll give you 15. With your 21, you know that he is banking on you not knowing what you've got.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. This does not even come close to where I don't think that there's going to be a way we can bridge this gap here. So, thank you, but I think we will be going now.
Ye will start leaving.
Ornan wanted to have something made.
I did want to have something made, and I was hoping to trade that for it.
Of course. Yeah, we'll trade that for it. Yes. What is it you want made?
Well, nothing has been agreed. I am going to be honest. I am very confused. Right now, my friends are leaving.
Yeah, they're ready to walk out.
Well, here, hold on. Before I leave, don't confuse our willingness to part with such a weapon for ignorance to what we have. This is a very powerful weapon, and especially here, where it is most important to have, it is quite a rare and potent item to be in possession of. Now, I believe that you, being a savvy business person yourself, knows very well that this will easily sell akin to like a giant slayer weapon or even a dragon slayer weapon, which is 7,000 to 8,000 gold pieces itself. And so, if you can't get close to that price point, then I don't think that we can do business with you on this.
Oh, you're right. You're right, Mawgrim. Or sorry, you're right, crisscross across.
The most casual name.
I thought it was crisscross applesauce.
No, you're right, Chris.
Oh my God.
And given the additional context of its obviously historical significance and where we're at here, this could be a gift to the. This could be a baron, a gift worthy of a baron.
Which would put it well north of 10,000 gold pieces.
Make an insight check or a perception check, everybody. Actually, insight, just insight.
Ornan got a 7. I'm still so confused.
Gee got an 11.
Sylvie got a 3. She stopped paying attention.
Mawgrim got a 7. Mawgrim got a 17.
The only person who catches this is Mawgrim. Mawgrim, you recognize you have hit it right on the head. A gift worthy of a baron. When you say that, you see a reaction from this gnome, and it's one of like kind of surprise that almost like, was he reading my mind? Yes, this is a gift worthy of a baron, and this gnome was thinking just that. He says, I can do 6,000.
Well, Mawgrim will kind of look to the other guys.
Or we can trade. I can make a weapon for your friend here, and we figure out the price that way.
Or we can bring it to the Baron ourselves. I wonder what kind of trade we could make from their treasure vault.
Oh, that would be pretty.
Well, the Baroness is not here currently, so she is down at in Mirloff.
Oh, we're in no hurry to get rid of this.
Well, perhaps let's table this discussion. I like where you're going with this, but I don't know that I'm fully agreed to that price just yet. But perhaps Ornan...
I guarantee you no one else here in town will pay 6,000. Guaranteed.
And I hear you, but let's go to what my friend here needs. Ornan, perhaps you can describe what it is you're looking for, and then we can see if this blade is more than equal compensation for that work, and what we may be owed in addition to such work.
So Ornan reaches into his backpack and he pulls out a notebook where he has some drawings and sketches that he's made of what he has in mind for a new hammer.
Okay.
And the idea is this. So he's pointing at these sketches. He's kind of showing the guy. He says, the shaft, I'm not too concerned about what that's built out of. Wood or metal, just something sturdy, something that won't break on me.
Sometimes it twists up, sometimes it twists sideways. Don't
That's
worry
right.
about it.
You just roll with it, you see. I like to twist and spin the shaft as I fight. Regardless, the part that's special about this that I have in mind is the head of the hammer. I'd like it to be made.
It's the most sensitive part.
It's quite sensitive, actually. There's a substance that I've heard of. It comes from these trees. It's called rubber.
Oh, no.
I was hoping that
Oh
you could make the head of this hammer made entirely out of rubber.
Rubber? Rubber.
Yes.
When you said you wanted a special weapon, I thought you were like, you want the head of your new pick to be like a steel gauntlet holding like a stake that you can use to kill vampires or something.
Oh, I mean, we could fashion it into a cool design, but the idea I have, or the most important part, is I'd like it to be non-lethal. I'd like it to only break bones and noses and such.
I don't know about rubber. I have not heard of this, but if a less than lethal weapon is what you are looking for, let me think on this for a second. And he stops. He opens up a little notebook, starts writing some things down. He's like, there are enchantments that I might be able to work into something. He kind of looks like looking around his little shop here, and he kind of points at a little dagger. He's like, yeah, that one, yeah, yes. And he goes and pulls it off the wall. And it's like, or this one, yes, okay. And he kind of says, I may be able to break down some of these other weapons to create a hammer that, when dealing with for lack of a better term, a human, a person, would not be as lethal as, say, if it were attacking or dealing damage to undead, or to a beast, or to, a dragon. Basically, what he's saying is, he can make you a hammer that will deal non-lethal damage all the time, unless you're attacking a monster of some kind. Okay. And then it'd be basically like a slayer weapon. So you could choose what type of monster or beast or whatever that you wanted it to be basically a slayer towards. And then it would be, so basically it'd be a +1 of your weapon that you're choosing. And then it would also add like an extra D damage die to that specified enemy.
I thought you were just going to give him a hammer that's enchanted with Spare the Dying. So every time you hit somebody, it also casts Spare the Dying on them.
That's
you know what? That's
good.
even better.
That is so good. That is so good.
Amazing.
Or we could do that.
Let's do
that. Sounds cheaper.
Oh, the Spare the Dying one would be much cheaper.
I like how he supplied that idea later. Honestly, classic salesperson.
I'd like to keep it as a +1 if we can, but the Spare the Dying I think is fantastic.
Okay. Perfect. So you want a +1. Are you looking at, what kind of a weapon are you looking at? Are you looking at a warhammer? Are you looking at a war pick?
A warhammer, yeah.
A warhammer. Okay, so warhammer +1, and it has a cantrip attached to it, right? Is Spare the Dying a cantrip? Yeah. Okay.
And you're sure you can't find rubber? I like the idea of running around with a rubber mallet, you see?
He says that
I'm just being silly.
He says that he can do the Spare the Dying hammer for 1,200 gold.
You, sir, have a deal. And we can consider the blade another day, it sounds like.
Okay. We can consider it now. 6,000.
How does everyone feel about this?
I don't know, because as the big, strong warrior that I am, I was also very tempted to wield it myself.
Yes.
I know you have such a vendetta against elves, Ross, but you gotta calm down.
I only got a 9 deception.
It didn't help
he rolled
that
a natural
Mawgrim
11.
actually did laugh out loud.
Yeah. It's not my style. My arms are kind of small. I'm more of a nimble guy.
I don't care. I just want this sword. 6,000.
6,500, and you have a deal.
He thinks about it for a minute. Yes, 6,500. Yes, and he reaches out a hand to shake your hand.
I'll look at everybody else to see how everybody else feels before I
You have to hand it over. I can't touch it.
Sounds fair to me. Our friend, of course, can touch it. Don't worry.
Oh, no, I've made a vow. I've made a vow not to touch anything having to do with elves except for their corpses.
Your deception. He's like, you're not fooling anyone. He says in Elvish, you're not fooling anyone.
That's great because I don't speak Elvish.
I think Cilvy's the only one that speaks Elvish.
I do. I do speak Elvish.
Oh my gosh.
That's so good. Okay. I think Mawgrim will go ahead and take his hand and shake on it and then hand over the elf's bane. So,
Okay.
and then I'll immediately divvy that out to everybody. That's 1,625 gold pieces for each.
Whoa! So we had
Wow,
no
wait.
money after learning all those spells.
So 1,600. So that's
We also got 87.5 for the statues that I sold each.
He says, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Your hammer should be, he kind of holds these two daggers in his hands. He's like, it should be ready, actually, I'll start on it right now. It should be ready in the morning.
Oh, wonderful. I love this. And feel free to be creative with designs on the head of the hammer.
Okay. It's like you get it back and it just has like scratched into the side. It just says rubber on the side. There you go. Here's your rubber mallet. But it's spelled R-U-B-H-E-R.
Well, I don't do that very often, but...
Wait, remind me again, Scott, you said how much for the statues?
87.5.
87, okay.
All right. You guys leave this
just got
little
a huge chunk
curio
of change.
shop.
Oh
You
my
guys leave
goodness.
this little
Dude, we're rich.
You guys leave this little curio shop, and as you walk back out into the plaza, it starts to rain a little bit on your heads. You glance across the plaza, across the Great Serpent Canal that runs through the center of town, towards what you see as the Temple of Selune, knowing that nearby is the shed, the shack between the Silver and the Willows. And that is where we're going to stop for tonight.
Okay. Also, I did buy that helmet. I did buy the lady singing helmet.
you did?
Yeah, love it.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool.
It'll be
If you
part of
want
like
it
a disguise.
enchanted,
Yeah.
if you want to enchant it or something, then that's something we can talk about as well. Very cool. Hey guys, thank you for playing today and wandering around Kladvina, staying in a swanky hotel, seeing some champions of the arena from last year, and totally bypassing any hooks that I thought you were going to take for this for this session. But maybe we'll get
Don't
there
worry,
next session.
time.
Was the Hook Islands that are just south of us?
Oh no, not the Hook Islands. There are
Okay.
two. What I was going to say is this didn't come up, but the castles that are surrounding the city. That's also the like constabulary / dungeons as well. So. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys, thank you guys so much for playing. This was so fun. It feels like we haven't played forever, and I'm really glad that we have gotten back together to explore Via Severia and the city of Kladvina. I've been really excited to get here for a long time. Anyway, don't forget, go check out our Patreon. You guys can listen to Your Neighbor's Potatoes. You can check out battle maps. You can see the city of Kladvina. I may actually put the city map up on the Discord just for everyone to see, because it is such a like a large place. But if you want to know where the
Careful, it's got some inappropriate parts.
but if you want to see like where specific things are, the wiki has those all labeled. And when you click on the labels for the specific places, it will also take you to battle maps that may or may not have been created yet, but a lot of them will be as we continue to explore this city. And until we get together next time. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Before we do that, we will see you guys in Salt Lake City in September for September 2024 for FanX. We don't have a table, so we are going to be wandering around the expo, and we are going to get something.
We did get accepted, though. I do think it's important to mention we got accepted for a table. We decided not to do that this year.
Yes, but we will be there, so we look forward to seeing you guys there at FanX. Anyone who can make it to the Intermountain West, and until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.